What's up, guys? I've got a really exciting team today. This one has been a ton of fun and honestly extremely successful now, way more successful than I thought. This Great League team is Obstagoon, Gengar, and Haunter. But before we get into the gameplay and a bit of reasoning behind the team creation, where this one's a bit more obvious than most, huge shout out to my Patreon supporters as usual. Thank you so much for everything you've done. But yeah, let's get into this gameplay video. So the team here is probably the most basic, classic version of a double weakness team you can even imagine. As Gengar and Haunter have almost identical stats and almost identical movesets. So I'll talk a little bit about how to play this team. In the first three sets, I believe I was playing this team a little bit incorrectly. I think that the correct way to play it is the way displayed on, or to my right here, that way, with Gengar being the safe switch, with Shadow Ball being the safe switch option. I think this is for a couple of reasons. I was seeing a lot of Bastiodon counter switches, and with Sludge Bomb, you just can't really do anything. With Shadow Ball, you can very easily get a shield back, or you can win switch advantage. Or you can force them to throw their energy. So that's huge. Second of all, Gengar gets access to Focus Blast, so if you really want to, you can actually go and charge up to that Focus Blast instead to get a shield off those Bastiodons, but I prefer the Shadow Ball method. But just having that opportunity, right? If a normal type swaps in, being able to fake that Focus Blast is a pretty big deal. But yeah, let's get into some of this gameplay. We're going to join in on this Obstagoon absolutely running house in this game. I think it is beaten pretty much all the Pokemon by themselves. They swapped an Umbreon, right? And I guess another thing to talk about is I'm running Cross Chop on this Obstagoon. At first, this was because I was too lazy to TM it off, but it has actually come in handy a numerous amount of times against the great amount of Darks and Steel types in Great League, and not having to land that Gunk Shot has been absolutely huge. For the most part, your Obstagoon does not have to deal with the Azu or the Fairies, right? So it doesn't really need that Gunk Shot like it would in a closer position, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, this is a team I had actually really considered running in Halloween Cup and Holiday Cup, but I just never had a Gengar at the time. I had to wait for Community Day in December, where I finally got one, and yeah, so I'm excited to see how it goes. So you can see here, I get counter swap by this Galarian Stunfisk, and if I had Shadow Ball or something, I'd be able to hit this guy back a lot harder. Instead, they're just going to no-shield my Shadow Punches. And actually, this one, I'm considering not really charging that far up, just because I want Obstagoon to be able to get that farm and be able to throw a move into the next Pokemon. Anyways, I switch immediately because I don't want this Stunfisk to be able to switch out. And take that Rock Slide, and they're going to come right back in with a Toxicroak. Unfortunately, Toxicroak is a bit of an issue, right? For Obstagoon, none of the charge moves do any damage. So in this case, versus this Azu, I try and go for the bait. And this Madman no shields with 2 shields. So at this point, I realized these Shadow Claws are really adding up. You just got to keep throwing Shadow Punches. So Haunter and Gengar actually have pretty good matchups versus Azu in the 2 shield. You don't need Sludge Bomb to KO this Spunny. You only really need stuff like Shadow Punch, and Shadow Ball actually hits incredibly hard. So I try and catch a move there on Obstagoon. And honestly, it did not work. So I know at this point I'm pretty hooped. But it is what it is. This team is very fast. So your wins are fast and your losses are fast. You might think this is a bit of a shorter video. I cut out a little bit more of the catching. But just in general, the gameplay for this has been very short. There are 4 sets in here in these 30 minutes. So we're going to see a Stunfisk lead. I swap out immediately and kind of regret it. Because, yeah, this is not a situation you want your Haunter to be in. I kind of wanted to make them swap out so that my Gengar with Shadow Ball can come in on them later. But instead, I'm forced to just Shadow Punch. You see, I go up to the Shadow Ball and throw the punch. And I get the shield. And the thing is, you just got to keep building up and baiting. Even if you don't have the move, maybe they'll think you have the move. And I get 2 shields off of this, right? So because I swapped in, they really think that I truly did have Shadow Ball. but where in the reality is I don't. So now shields are down, and even though they have switch advantage, I'm just going to try and farm this Stunfisk all the way down and really hope that whatever's in the back doesn't want to be Night Slashed. Oh, I don't commit. Like a wuss. But yeah, it's true. If I had just committed, this Deoxys Defense would have had a much harder time coming in, but I'm able to just swap it in and go into this Gengar anyways. In the back, they have Shadow Cloister. It's not a Pokemon I've seen, but I do know that I beat it to a Shadow Ball. Or I win the race to a Charge move. And they're going to come in with Deoxys, and luckily they're not running Psycho Boost. So I'm going to be able to take this this W here. So a lot of Deoxys you'll see in these videos. Well, not a lot. About half of them aren't running Psycho Boost. Really, you guys should be running Psycho Boost, right? Deoxys should run Psycho Boost. That's its signature move. So next battle, Valor Ash here. This one was on stream. He's running a pretty spicy team. Well, not the lead, but you'll see how it goes. So Obstagoon versus Abomasnow. He actually stays in, which is was a bit concerning for me. Usually in the back you have 2 counters to Obstagoon, so I was thinking maybe he was running the Sableye version or the Marowak version. So I shield 1 because I know that I'm going to have to shield 1 anyways. So I'll shield him the first one just because it might be an energy ball, but a player like Valor Ash isn't going to throw an energy ball, right? It's less damage per energy. And he swaps it to Torkoal. So this is an interesting one. I actually go for the bait here. I bait a lot with this team. I don't usually bait a lot, but the thing is Haunter and Gengar are just so powerful. You kind of have to get your baits off. And I have no idea what moveset Torkoal has. So my count is completely off, or I guess I luckily got it correct, but I have no idea what moves it has. It has Overheat, I guess. So I'm going to swap into Gengar and just farm this thing as much as I can. I guess he realizes that he can't let my Gengar farm down and swaps to Jelly, but obviously Gengar is going to beat Jelly to a Shadow Ball and be able to farm down this Torkoal. So pretty straightforward win here just because I had a good lead and some good switches available. And unless Jelly had a shield advantage, there's no way it's dealing with Gengar and Haunter. Alright, so Swampert lead. These ones are a bit tough. Mainly because you kind of don't want to swap in Gengar and Haunter. These Pokemon that charge to their charge moves really fast are kind of the bane of their existence, right? So I want to weaken it a little bit and maybe tank a Hydro Cannon on Obstagoon because it's kind of the only Pokemon on this team that can tank a charge move. And holy cow, Shadow Swampert, Hydro Cannon hits so hard. I'm going to have to shield the next one for sure. But luckily they let it through, and I'm going to swap in and take out their Swampert before the next Hydro Cannon. And they're just going to leave. So a little bit scared of that Haunter there. I would be too. They're spooky ghosts. But yeah, we're going to start off this with a force. This was actually my second set. First set, it took a little bit to get used to how squishy all these Pokemon were, and I did not do so well. A lot of misplays, a lot of losses, but it is what it is, right? But yeah, also I should take this time. I hate shilling normally, but I've noticed I've got a lot of new views recently. Thank you guys all for coming and watching. But I've noticed a lot of these viewers are from people who are unsubscribed. So if you've made it this far in the video, hopefully you're enjoying it. And if you wouldn't mind giving me a subscribe, that would really help out the channel a bunch. Like I said, I don't normally do this, but like the percentages have gotten crazy recently. But yeah, so Sableye counter swap, pretty powerful right there. If I was running Shadow Ball, I actually might have been able to turn that around, right? So this is another one of the scenarios where if I swapped in Gengar instead, it would have been better. Let's take a look at shield advantage though. Haunter gave me shield advantage just via baiting. Like I said, if you don't got it, bait it, right? Just always go for that Shadow Ball, or bait that Shadow Ball anyways. If you need to bait the Focus Blast, bait the Focus Blast. And they're going to swap right out here. Maybe trying to catch a Sludge Bomb, but the joke is on them. I don't have Sludge Bomb. I have Shadow Ball. So, goodbye Marowak. Hello Azu again. They know the jig is up though. They know I don't have Shadow or Sludge Bomb, so this is why I don't bait here. Go straight for it. But what they don't realize is Shadow Ball hits incredibly hard anyways, so it's going to be able to take them out. Yeah, this team is really fun, and it's like the thing I like about it is it's great against those meta monsters that the bane of, like, a lot of people hate Shadow Victory Bell and high damage fast moves. I hate really slow charging high damage moves on super tanky Pokemon. Stuff like Azu and Stunfisk. I hate playing against those Pokemon. So this team, I wouldn't say demolishes those, but it can really take advantage of them. So we have Drifblim lead, and they decide to stay in. So this is a really interesting scenario. The fact that they're staying in means that the team is pretty weak to Obstagoon, and they're shielding right away. So I get the boost too. That's the only reason I stay in here. I would have swapped otherwise. Gengar and Haunter both deal well with Drifblim, but because I have the boost, I figured I might as well stay in. They committed a shield, so I'm committing a shield. Sorry, 2 shields, so I'm committing a shield. Because I realized that my Obstagoon is going to be pretty important in this game. If they're not swapping out, it has at least one more job to do. And at this point, I'm going to swap out to Haunter, and they're going to swap to Bastiodon. So a lot of these Bastiodon counter switches are the reason that I started swapping in Gengar. And you're going to see in my final set, that's when I started swapping in. I'll bring more attention to that in the final set. So hopefully if you guys stick around, I'll be able to walk you through how I actually play this team now versus how I used to play this team, I would say incorrectly. And I even throw that extra Shadow Punch there. Usually I just let that one go, so Obstagoon gets more farm. But in this case, my Obstagoon is kind of low already, and I don't want to have to shield. So, but I do. And then Drifblim comes back in, obviously, and I'm just gonna get out just to start getting up some more farm on this this Gengar. So hopefully whatever comes in can't take a Shadow Ball, and Hypno absolutely cannot. This is a really good feeling. Normally you're really scared of those Hypno swap-ins, but guess what? When shields are down, it's a completely different story. So I'll be able to take this game as well off the back of Gengar, and Shadow Ball as well. So I guess in this case, even though the swap-in was not as effective, having Shadow Ball at the end was very good. Honestly, I even considered giving both these guys Shadow Ball, because there's only one scenario where I would even want Sludge Bomb on any of them, and that's Wigglytuff. So, but yeah. Because otherwise, you can't deal with Wigglytuff at all with this team. But we'll see a Wigglytuff in these games for sure. So, same thing, Swampert. I swap into Haunter, and unfortunately, because this is not a Shadow Swampert, I'm not able to delete it right before it gets to that next Hydro Cannon, and I'm going to have to go down 2 shields. So, Galvantula, I know it's very likely to shield the first one, so I'm going to bait. And I'm going to get another Shadow Punch in before they even get to a lunge. So we'll see if they match shields. Yeah, they do. So guess what? Shield advantage is already back in this case. And they undercharge. So that was really good by them, because now my Gengar can't come back in to this, right? Otherwise, I would be able to get to that Shadow Punch before them. And my Obstagoon isn't going to quite be able to take down this Galvantula either. The Night Slash does a ton of damage, but the lunge will be able to finish it off. And then I'm going to swap into Gengar here, and we'll see if the Shadow Ball does enough damage. No, it does not. And they're going to get to their move. So, pretty close, but no cigar. Yeah, even though it does a ton of damage, like the tanky Pokemon like Skarmory, etc. Like, there's a reason Gengar and Haunter are rated like 150 on PvPoke, right? They're so squishy. But the reason this team works is just playing around their energy gain. So we have an Alolan Marowak lead. I would swap right away, but normally people are swapping as well. So I swapped to Wiggly. This is the Wiggly we were talking about. I'm just going to go straight Sludge Bomb here. Because they swapped in after me, so they probably think I could have Shadow Ball maybe. But because I reveal a Sludge Bomb, I'm just going to Sludge Bomb again. I really hope they're not counting. But nobody likes to go 2 shields down anyways, right? So I'm going to win Switch and Shield Advantage there. That's a pretty big deal. And now I have to think about what's in the back. So a Charmer switch in is probably double Charm, right? Obstagoon is absolutely useless against that. I'm just going to put Goon in. And the fact that they're throwing Bone Clubs at me is a pretty good sign. They're just trying to wear down the switch timer so that they can get back in. So it's a Whimsicott. This is perfect for me. You know what? I'm just going to, like, I go up to the Shadow Ball, but I'm really just going to Shadow Punch anyways. It's the safer play when they have a shield left. So I'm going to get the shield and just go for another Shadow Punch. As long as, like, they don't, even if they throw a charge move, I have 2 shields still. And honestly, I probably should have 2 shield flexed at this point, because this is a pretty easy win, but I decided to play it safe and just go for the Shadow Punch instead. Get as much damage as possible out here. So yeah, going to be able to take down that double Charmer lineup. I heard you guys hate double Charm, so here we go. This team beats double Charm if you play it right. This next game, I believe we had another degenerate lineup. No, never mind. I'm remembering wrong. Shadow Abomasnow is not degenerate. So another Shadow Abomasnow staying in. I'm thinking this is another Ghost type in the back. I'm not tricked by, because I've played Valarash now with this, I know they're actually planning on staying in. They're not just trying to catch something, so I throw the Cross Chop to burn a shield. I'll shield a Weather Ball just because I know I'll have to shield one anyways. Same as last matchup, right? I don't mind shielding the first one just because it could be an Energy Ball just in case the player's not aware about the DPE and stuff like that. And I just realized I'm not going to get to that cross chop there, so I'll throw it, and they're going to swap in Azu and then come in with Glaring Stunfisk. So this is one of those issues, right? Azu, my Haunter is better with Sludge Bomb against Azu. I really should have swapped in my Gengar, and Gengar would have been able to Shadow Ball this Glaring Stunfisk, right? But it is what it is. I'm going to swap back in my Obstagoon. We're going to get a counter off, a cross chop off to deal quite a bit of damage. And I really wanted to throw energy, so this is perfect. So that my Gengar can get a little bit of a energy advantage here. And oh boy, do I wish this was my Haunter right now. All I'd have to do is land a Sludge Bomb. I know I'm kind of up against it right now, but I think that I can get to 2 Shadow Balls before they get to another Ice Beam. So we'll see if I'm right or not. Well, I was right. But the problem is the Shadow Ball doesn't do quite enough damage. So if I had swapped in my Gengar instead first, like I was saying, this would have been another win. Like, a lot of these losses are I won't say wins, but they're what could have been wins if I were playing the way that I am currently playing this team now. So while you can take a lot from these first 3 sets, this last set is really probably the most important to watch in terms of gameplay. Altaria lead. This is pretty rough. It beats every Pokemon on this team, and they have a perfect counter swap. So I'm going to go up to the Shadow Ball and throw, and probably get a shield back. Except these guys are actually... This guy's a madman. How do you not shield that? That's insane. I could have won switch advantage back there. But either way, I'm going to no shield this. This guy has a ton of energy, and just really hope it's not a Focus Blast, but it is. So, yeah. I'm honestly not sure why I didn't just quit at this point. I think I do now. Yeah, because Altaria can just Dragon Breath me down. I did know they were at a Focus Blast, but I wasn't sure if they were just trying to get my shield. And I thought that the only win condition I had was hoping that it wasn't a Focus Blast. So Scrafty lead. This is really, really hard. But luckily they swap out. Scrafty's a Pokemon that beats every Pokemon on this team, and it's not close. So... it takes a lot of careful piloting. We're going to see another Scrafty later in the video as well. Which I play even worse than this one. So I swap in the Haunter, which is my best counter for it, right? It has the Sludge Bomb. And they swap out. And this Bastiodon is actually a pretty big deal. See, if I had swapped in the Shadow Ball Gengar here instead, this would have been a much easier game. But we're in a bit of a tough scenario now versus this Scrafty. So I just got to fake like I have Sludge Bomb. And here's the thing. If I just keep throwing Shadow Punches, they'll never know if I have Sludge Bomb or Shadow Ball, right? Just got to keep them thinking. If you bait once, just keep baiting, right? Like, Shadow Ball isn't going to hurt enough. And the other advantage of these punches is I'm trying to wear down the switch timer right now as well. I'm just trying to get that up so I can get my Obstagoon back in and hopefully get to a cross chop. So really what I should have done there was thrown a... I wasn't counting, and that's my fault. I should have thrown a Shadow Punch, swapped, and then thrown the cross chop. And I think that would have been my win condition. But unfortunately, I misplayed a little bit there. But this is one of those games where, again, I probably would have won if I swapped into Gengar with Shadow Ball. Deoxys lead. So the fact they're staying in, I know they have Psycho Boost already, so I'm fine throwing my Shadow Punch right away because I know we'll probably CMP tie. I'm just trying to get some damage on this Deoxys. And like I said, they're going to throw a Psycho Boost here and swap to Bastiodon. So once again, a swap to Bastiodon. This is honestly so frustrating. Like, this happened so many times. So this is the main reason I swapped it up to Shadow Ball. Lots of people running Bastiodon in the back now. Not that I have anything against it. I love Bastiodon. I think it's pretty good in the meta as well. But like, you see, these Shadow Punches don't do anything. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say. Wait till the 4th set. We're going to switch it up and see how it goes. But I'm going to bring back in the Obstagoon, get some easy farm. And the thing is, Deoxys does not like to come into a loaded Obstagoon. If you'll notice, I let my Hunter go down with some energy as well, I think. Just so I can get more farm. And this Deoxys comes back in. And I throw right away just because the counters are what do the most damage to Obstagoon. But they're gonna go right away as well. And because I swapped slow, they're gonna get to another Psycho Boost. So this game is also kind of my fault. I made some poor plays. I just know I need to land a Shadow Ball here. And then hopefully Goon will be able to finish off with a Night Slash at the end. And they shield one Shadow Ball. But I'm going to be able to get to a second. So you outpace Azu by a fair amount. So it's important to just trust that count sometimes. And go straight for it. And the thing is, they don't even have Ice Beam. They have Play Rough. So I'm going to get a little bit more damage and be able to swap to this Goon and finish it off. Yeah, this team has been... it's a lot of fun. It's very run and gun style. A lot of one-shots. A lot of huge damage. A lot of very tight play you have to make. So it's been a very exciting team, and I'm glad it's been this successful. So what I started doing versus these Marowak leads is waiting for them to switch out. Because I swapped out that one time and they swapped in Wiggly, which was really lucky for me. But if it's one of those double charm teams again, I want them to swap in Wiggly first so I can match up my correct Pokemon. Same with this Azu, right? They swap in Azu. I'm going to swap in Haunter because it's the one with Sludge Bomb. And now they're going to swap in Shiftry. So I'm going to bait here. They know I have Sludge Bomb now. That's why I'm baiting. They know it. And they're scared. So let's hope they're not counting. Because I'm just going to throw a Shadow Punch. And get another shield. So, thank God. Shiftry is a bit of a hassle, though. And by a bit, I mean it's a pretty big deal when it's able to farm down the Gengar like that. Because... okay, cat. Nothing from my team really likes to take these charge moves, right? Like, these Leaf Blades really hurt. And I'm going to need to shield another one. So, both my shields are down. But they hard swap into their Alolan Marowak. And I really hope that I survive... No, I won't. I thought it was Bone Club, but it's not. And then, once again, this is going to be an incredibly close down-to-the-wire battle. Night Slash does not KO from this point. And they are at a Bone Club. So this Bone Club will barely not be able to take me out, and I'll be able to counter down not only that Marowak, but then that Shiftry as well. So, yeah, the bait actually... bait's winning the game there for sure. But that's also the issue about letting their Marowak swap at the beginning. They have a little bit more energy. It's hard to switch in later. So Galvantula, this is a bit of a tough one. I throw my Night Slash because it's likely to get a shield on Galvantula, which is great. But it doesn't in this case. So they're going to get to a lunge. I have to choose whether or not to shield. No shielding is also fine. But I'm going to swap to Gengar. And once again, another swap where... Sorry, I'm going to swap to Haunter. And another swap where Gengar would have been better, right? A ground type that resists Sludge Bomb. So, while in the past, normally I've advocated for switching in Sludge Bomb, mainly in Ultra League, it's completely different because in Ultra League there's Snorlax everywhere, right? And you need Sludge Bomb to be able to deal with Snorlax and Obstagoon switch-ins. But with Shadow Ball, it's really just Obstagoon, who isn't all that common, surprisingly. But now I've thrown my Gengar out. Unfortunately, the game makes you do that. And they're going to come in with Tropius. So, really have to fake that I have Sludge Bomb. And once again, Wild Wind Condition appears. They sacrifice their Galvantula to the Energy Lords, the Energy Gods, and they don't fall for my bait. So, it's probably still over. But... there's no way they fall for this one. And I might actually be able to race them to the Sludge Bomb. Yeah, I will be able to. And I'll be able to get the Shadow Ball off. So, once again, a game maybe where I did not deserve to win, but my opponent decided to paid actor me by swapping in their Galvantula. But we've all been there, right? You've seen some videos where I've done that myself. You try and catch a move and you just throw the game. But it's all about learning your win condition, right? Yeah, so this is the last set. This is the coveted last set that I've been talking about this whole time. We are going to start swapping in Gengar. The graphic to the right is correct now. Off a lead, swapping to Gengar, right? And now we have Sableye. So here we go. Already a Pokemon where it's better to have Gengar in. First game, I get the shield. And I get really greedy. So I really should have just went for the Shadow Punch. But I'm not very smart in this case. At this point, I know it's going to be a return. Honestly, I probably should shield here. Shielding return is a pretty big deal because then you don't have to shield the subsequent foul play. Well, I don't shield this anyways, but you know what I'm saying. I'm going to get this Night Slash off. Sableye's not one of those Pokemon you can really farm down. like Bastiodon. But they're going to swap into Chesnaught, and I feel comfortable because Chesnaught can't really do anything to Haunter at all. I have no idea how much damage this Energy Ball does. No idea, but I don't want to chance it. And I'm just going to go straight Sludge Bomb because I think they realize their Chesnaught is kind of useless versus Haunter as well. And they're going to come in with Frostlass. So this is a pretty good scenario for me. Right? Shadow Punch is really all you need to do. Frostlass is super squishy. Look how much damage these Shadow Claws are doing. Yeah, and I'm going to be able to easily take it out there. They needed to farm all the way down to get a move or two against my Obstagoon as well, right? And my Obstagoon is still around, still healthy enough to get another move off. Chrysadude is my next opponent. He's a very good player. So we have Pelliper come in. Pelliper is one of those Pokemon that's also very annoying to deal with Haunter and Gengar because it gets those moves so fast. But they decide to switch into their Bastiodon. Well, guess what? Now we have Shadow Ball. This is a much better feeling. Look how much damage that Shadow Ball does. They absolutely cannot let the next one through. And I'm going to go straight Shadow Ball. My theory behind this was I can get a shield, right? I can get a shield and Obstagoon can still farm all the way down, right? But in hindsight, so we both stop attacking a little bit there. But he finishes me off. In hindsight, what I really should have done was just bait the Shadow Punch. So we're going to see how I improve this technique. This is called learning from your mistakes, right? This is something everyone should be actively doing. So not in this game, but let's take a look at the next game and how I grow that strategy a little bit. So Pelliper comes back in. I've realized my mistake of swapping in Gengar right away. No, I haven't. We're going to go right into the Haunter, and now we have this Galarian Stunfisk to deal with. This Pokemon is quite a big hassle. I'm not running Shadow Ball and Haunter. This is a pretty common team now, this double tank team. I would like to see a lot more counter users come out from it. I don't shield at all. I don't quite get to that Shadow Punch, but it's time to farm all the way down. So in this case, I'm going to shield one Rock Slide. I really need to be able to farm this Stunfisk. I won't be able to, but I can live a Rock Slide, and I just need to hope that these Night Slashes are going to be enough. So we're going to get a Night Slash here, off on the Pelliper. He still has a shield, right? And the shield's the first one, and I don't get the boost. So that was my win condition right there. They were scared. So that's the thing, is they have to shield the first one, or Chris has to shield the first one, just because I might be running Hyper Beam or Gunk Shot, right? I might be. But if I get that boost, it doesn't matter. It'll still KO. So that's a loss right there. But those teams are definitely winnable. Here we go. Bastiodon. Have I learned my lesson? We're going to go Shadow Ball this time. Again. And this Bastiodon looks a lot decently squishier than the last one. But they're throwing because they're really scared that I'm actually going to take them down. So I don't mind this at all. No energy against my Obstagoon if it gets there. I'm going to bait with a Shadow Punch. Which they shield. And guess what? I get to the Shadow Punch again. So able to take this Bastiodon down unless they commit 2 shields, which they do. So this is perfectly fine by me. This is called evolving a strategy. You slowly learn matchups as you play the team, and they're going to swap into Medicham. So Medicham and Deoxys Defense here. While it would be nice to have the Shadow Ball, Shadow Punches do quite a bit of damage as well. I might have even been able to go Sludge Bomb here, but I do want to be able to farm this Deoxys down because I need energy to take down that Medicham. So this Deoxys does not have Psycho Boost, and if it did, I would have lost. So once again, another PSA. Psycho Boost is an amazing move. But yeah, I just need to make it 2 Shadow Punches here to take down this Medicham. Yeah, this team, the backline slaughters Medicham. And if Medicham gets more common after this Hoenn event, oh boy, I'm going to have a field day with this team, that's for sure. Because I think Medicham is, or Meditite is boosted right now in the wild. Yep, this next game, we are going to see a Scrafty lead. Oh boy, this is tough. So I swap into my Shadow Ball Ghost type because I expected them to switch out like last time, but guess what? They stay in. So they have no reason to bait Power Up Punch here because the boost doesn't matter. Foul Play already one-shots. So I go for Shadow Ball. I should have went for Shadow Punch. I failed my own rule of if you don't have it, then bait it. I should have just kept baiting the Sludge Bomb, but the gig is up, right? Like, they know I have Shadow Ball now. I can't do anything. So I'm going to go back in with Haunter. And really hope that they think that I have Shadow Ball in this one again. So I just have to go straight for the Sludge Bomb. And I'm going to be able to take them out here. I think that's a CMP tie, right? It's the same amount of moves. and Shadow Hypno comes in, and unfortunately, Shadow Hypno deletes Haunter. So we still have a rough game ahead of us, but it's winnable, right? So countered in the lead, countered in the switch, countered in the back. How do we win this? By energy management, right? That's all you got to do. So I swap in, and I'm going to spend my shield here. And because it's a psychic, I'm going to be able to farm up an absolute ton. I'm actually going to be able to take them down. And guess what? With an energy advantage, who wins Hypno versus Haunter? It's now Haunter instead. So remember, that was a Scrafty lead, complete counter to Obstagoon. That was a Hypno counter for the switch-in, and a Medicham for the Obstagoon. So actually no, well, because they didn't swap out of the Scrafty. So Scrafty counters Gengar, Medicham counters Obstagoon. Okay, they're gonna swap out here. Looks like we have some sort of weird grass hole. I was a bit inebriated by this point in my set, so I don't know what I'm doing. Really, you should switch out here right away, but now it's a bit too late, but I get the boost. So yeah, really helping me out here. I stay in because of the boost. I know I'm probably gonna have to shield 2 Frenzy Plants if they shield here. That's why I'm throwing right away. I probably should have farmed up a little more, but yeah, they're gonna get to the second Frenzy Plant. So I'm all in the Obstagoon here now. I know I need it for Bastiodon, so I need it to remain relatively healthy, and we're gonna have this Medicham come back in. So right now I realize I'm gonna have to sacrifice one of my ghost types. I'm gonna bring in the Shadow Ball ghost type, just because I can hit back harder on the Bastiodon. I know it's coming right back in, right? I've stalled the switch timer on purpose so that they can come back in, just to make the game a little bit more predictable for me. And then, like I said, I was not playing very well this game. I go back for the Shadow Ball, reneging on the strategy that I had before. I really should have just went for 2 Shadow Punches. I would be in a much more comfortable scenario. And in this case, I have to go back in with the Goon. I want my Goon to go down here, though. I want to lose my Goon because I want to be able to farm down with Haunter. But luckily, switch timers are up, and I'm just able to get out of there anyways. Take out that Medicham, and then take out this Bastiodon with Haunter. So something very satisfying about Haunter's attack animation. But yeah, that's all the games I have for you today. I really like this team. Was a lot of fun. So thank you all for watching. For those of you who are new to this channel, thank you so much as well. I hope you liked what you saw. But yeah, check out all my socials in the comments. Keep up with Twitter. I post all my videos there in case you miss an update, or you can just subscribe, obviously, to just get those notifications. Patreon is there as well, and link to my Discord channel is there. Discord has been awesome. The community is growing. It's always very active. People are talking, and it's been a lot of fun interacting with you all. But yeah, that's all I have for this video, so thanks for watching, guys.